So this is 2,3-dibromo 1-phenyl pentane. Now here you see that it is pentane and the number of carbons one, two, three, four, five, and this pentane is the main chain. This is the root. Okay, and the closest, the nearest side chain is at carbon 1. Now, why this one has been considered as 1? Because if I start 1 from the right side, then the nearest branch is on third carbon. But if I start from the left carbon, the nearest branch, which is phenyl, is on first carbon. So remember, if there is CH3, CH3 can never be, or CH2 can never be the branch if it is at the end, because that will constitute to the main chain. Suppose I have CH3, CH2, CH2, CH3, and on the left hand side, suppose I have one CH3 connected more. So it cannot be considered, the CH3 cannot be considered as branch because that will constitute the main chain. But if to this type of chain, phenyl group is attached, then phenyl group does not become the part of the chain. It is aryl compound. Either it will be the main root or it will be connected to the main root. So in this case, it is not the main root, and the reason is, although there are only 5 electrons as compared to the 6 electrons in this ring. So here, sorry, electrons, I'm saying 6 carbons. Here I have 5 carbons. But these 5 carbons will be considered as root because we have side chains here. And that is the normal rule basically. If you have 3 or more carbons of aliphatic compound, aliphatic compounds, they do not have any ring, then that will be considered as root. So that's why this has been considered as root, because it has more than 3 carbons, that is 5, and also it has branches, 2 bromines attached. So that will be the main root. So first, write the root C, 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 5 pentane. Then on first carbon, have the phenyl group attached. Phenyl group is nothing but benzene group when it is attached as side chain. Now, the carbon to which phenyl group is attached becomes the first one because this is the nearest to the end. So it has to be the first one. It is nearest to the end. Now on second and third carbons, you have bromine. Now write all the other valencies as hydrogen or bonds. So this is correct answer. But you can write it in the form of bond line formula also. So all carbons you can write CH2, CH, CH, CH2, CH3. Then you have bromine here, bromine here. And here you have the, on this carbon you can show as the connector. of phenyl group. So remember, all the other things other than carbon and hydrogen have to be shown. That's why bromines are shown and others are not shown. Remember, all junctions, all corners, all ends will represent carbon. So that's why if you see this one, these five carbons are of pentane. This carbon is not of pentane. This carbon is in the ring. So all the green colored carbons are actually of the ring. So don't consider those as part of five carbons there. Sometimes students are confused and they consider this carbon also as fifth carbon. Okay. So students have done this mistake in past, so you need to be careful. They what they have done, they have taken this one as one of the carbon of the main chain and they did not have anything here. They have shown it like this. They said there are five carbons and the benzene ring is attached to it. But there is benzene's carbon ring then. Sorry, benzene's carbon there. So be sure that you have five carbons in the chain and all six carbons of the benzene ring separately. So when a benzene ring is attached to an alkane with a functional group, it is considered as substituent instead of a parent. So the name for the benzene as substituent is phenyl. 4-ethyl 1-fluoro 2-nitro benzene. This one is easy, so I'm just showing it. So you have anyone as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So draw the structure and have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. On 4, have ethyl. On 1, fluoro. On 2, nitro. That is the answer. Now, next section, isomerism. So typically, we will be dividing isomerism in two parts. Okay. First, the definition. We say there is isomerism or two or more compounds are isomers if they possess same molecular formula. Molecular formula is same, but they show different properties. The properties are different. And the reason is because their structure is different. So isomerism normally we will divide in two parts, is structural isomerism and stereoisomerism. Within structural isomerism, we will talk about five types of substituents: chain isomerism, position isomerism, functional group isomerism, metamerism, and another one, ring chain isomerism. In stereoisomerism, geometrical isomerism, and optical isomerism. There is something like tautomerism also we will talk about lightly. And tautomerism is nothing but the movement of hydrogen from one place to another place. So when we come across, I'll explain. So structural isomerism 4 in NCRT, but we will be talking about 5, another one ring chain also. So the first one, chain isomerism. And one hint, whenever we are talking about isomerism, the name is actually what is different. So if the name is chain isomerism, chain is different. This is easiest way to remember. Otherwise, many students do mistake between position isomerism and functional isomerism, and you have to be careful. Position isomerism means position is different. Though there will be functional group, okay? Functional group isomerism means both will have functional groups. For example, if there are two isomers, both will have functional groups, but functional group will be different. This is the easiest way to remember. Metamerism is slightly different. We will talk about what is metamerism. It is just ether that alkyl groups are different. So first one, chain isomerism. As I said, chain is different. For example, C5H12, pentane. And you know from your previous grades that pentane is, or any alkane is of this structure. More about it we will be talking about in next chapter, that is hydrocarbons. CnH2n plus 2. So if you have n equals to 1, it will be CH4, n equals to 5, C5H12. So it is pentane. If we draw the structures, so the easiest structure will be the flat one, which will be CH3, CH2, 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 CH3. And when we have this flat structure, the name to whether there are 5 carbons, 4 carbons, 8 carbons, the name is prefixed with N, N pentane. So if there is N prefixed to any alkane, it means it does not have any branches. It is flat structure as I have written here. Now we can have branches as well. Suppose we have only in main chain, we have only these 4 carbons. So I can write it CH3, CH, CH2, CH3. I have written here CH because this CH3 can move here. If it moves here, it will be like this. The formula is same, C5H12. You can count 5 carbons, 12 hydrogens. Now it is not N-pentane because there is a branch. So we will name it as per IUPAC naming convention, and when we name it, this end is nearest to the branch. Branch is near to the left end. So this will be 1, 2, 3, 4. And the name will be 2-methyl because on second carbon I have methyl and there are 4 carbons in the main chain. Butane. Okay. Yes, Panna, Shashwat have already given me correct answers. Karan also given me correct answer. Okay, Karan has given me the different answer, but that is correct. Karan says it is isopentane. Yes, it is isopentane because it has iso group. Iso, how many total carbons? 5. So isopentane. 2-methyl pentane, sorry, 2-methyl butane or isopentane. Both are correct answers. So this is isomer of C5H12, another isomer. Now remember, whether you have CH3 like this or you have CH3 here, it is same thing. Because now in that case, that will be second carbon from the right hand side. In that case, numbering will change and it will be first carbon will be on the right hand side, but the name will be same, 2-methyl butane or isopentane. So don't consider these two as different isomers. Okay? Whether it is like this or it is like this, both are same. These two are same. So you will write either of these. Then I can move this one also here. This carbon is already attached here. A few students have done mistake, okay? And that's something I need to explain. Instead of horizontally, a few students show it like this. They have this part as CH2, CH, CH3, CH3. And they say that I have moved this CH3 from here to here. But it is exactly the same thing. You have not changed anything. The CH3 was connected to this carbon and CH3 is connected to this carbon. There is no change. It is connected to third carbon. You have just changed its direction. Don't do that. That does not make any sense that you change the direction and say it is different compound. So you can't move it here. You can move it here. When you move it here, it will be like this is I'm starting from right hand side, and then you can move it here. You have attached this here. And then this CH2 actually gets converted to CH3 because now it becomes the end. Another possible structure formula remains same, C5H12. Okay, so this one is 2 comma 2. Yes, tell me the IUPAC name of this one. Yes, Ashi, that is also correct answer. Mehak, correct answer. Yes, Arohi, correct. Do not have space between methyl and propane. Okay. Shashwat, Karan, correct. Yes, Shivangi, yes. Rita, yes. Yes, Sarohi. Both I am saying correct. Whether you say neopentane or you say 2,2-methyl propane, both are correct answers. Yes, Karan, Shashwat. Good. It is 2 comma 2 dimethyl propane. One, two, three. On second carbon, you have two methyl groups, so 2,2-dimethyl, and the main chain is of three carbons, so propane. So these are isomers. So pentane means this one is N-pentane. We will write it N. Then 2-methyl butane or isopentane. Then neopentane or 2,2-dimethyl propane. All these are isomers of pentane. Now next one, position isomerism. As I said, position isomerism, the position will be different, but of what? Position of functional group. So that's why I said students make mistake in position isomerism and functional isomerism, because both are related to functional groups. But in case of position isomerism, position of same functional group will be different. Functional group will not change, otherwise it will become functional group isomerism. of functional isomerism. The rule is very simple. So C3H8O, and remember the examples. Otherwise, you will struggle to think about the examples in the examination hall. You should memorize. This one is propan 1 all. Functional group is alcohol, OH. But I can move this OH to second carbon as well. Remember, I cannot move or I should not move the OH to this carbon because it moves from one end to another end. It doesn't make any difference. So you cannot move OH to this carbon. You can move OH to this carbon, then it will be different and it will look like CH3, CH, OH, CH3. At the moment, it is like this: CH3, CH2, CH2, OH. On first carbon, why this is first carbon? Because it has functional group, so this has to be first carbon. On first carbon, you have OH, so you will say propan 1 all. Remember, the functional groups are suffixed to the root. They are not prefixed. Functional groups are suffixed. So that's why after the root. Now this one you can have any one as 1 because it is symmetrical from both sides. What will be the name of second one? Formula is same, functional group is same, only the position has changed. Mehak correct, Rashi correct, Karan correct. Good. So the first one is propan 1 all because OH was on first carbon. Here OH is on second carbon. It will be propan 2 all. Shivangi, Devansh, Tuhina, correct. Good. So another possibility in this case is propan 2 all. And again, as I explained in case of alkene and alkane, in case of alkene, we write prop or propan in few cases. Why? Because in that case, propane gets converted to propene, and then we say on which carbon it is attached, ene is attached. So we separate it and we say on second carbon, then we say prop to ene. Similarly, in alcohols, if it is simple alcohol, this one, it is called propanol. This one is also called propanol. Okay, in simple one, if we are not considering the number, it would have been propanol. So all group we need to specify on which carbon it is. So we separate it and we tell it is on first carbon or on second carbon. So that's why here we don't write propane. It is actually propanol and we split it in propan and all and we specify the position of all. That's why name propan 2 all or propan 1 all. Now, can you tell me another name of this one? Who can tell me another name of this second one, propan 2 all? And you know it. Yeah. You can at least get with the information you have. Even today, few of you have given answer based on that. Already given answer. Now this hint should be sufficient. Yes, Shashwat, you are very close. But this is alcohol. Devansh got it. Good. You are in the right direction. However, Answer not correct, but you are in right direction. One correct, Shivangi. Yes, you that can be accepted. Ashi, you are close. It is alcohol, so you need to think in that direction. Shashwat, you are yes, almost correct. Mehak, almost, almost correct, I would say. So because this one actually has isogroup, you know what is isogroup? This can be written as CH3, CH, CH3, OH. Just see what I have done. Okay, I have taken this CH3 here and moved OH here. That's what I have done. I have just changed the way it is written. I have not changed the structure. Then this group is isogroup. So you say isopropyl alcohol because this is propyl. Okay, it is not propane. It has one carbon less. So that's why isopropyl alcohol. So we will say is iso because there are three carbons, propyl alcohol. This is another name for propan 2-ol. In that case, we won't mention the two. Remember, ISO itself says that this has this structure and it is possible only if OH is attached on second carbon in this case. If OH is attached on first carbon, then it will be propan-1-ol, this structure, and this does not have isopropyl group. So another possibility, first possibility, propan-1-ol, and another isomer possible is propan-2-ol, which can be written as isopropyl alcohol as well. Now, functional group isomerism. As I said, in this case, there will be functional group, but functional group will be different in the isomers, different functional groups. Remember the formula will remain, the structural formula will remain same. For example, C3H6O. Now see, in the previous case, it was C3H8O, position isomerism. Try to memorize these answers. They will save a lot of time. These examples. Here, functional group, the example is C3H6O. And it will help you a lot in questions when we will be doing specifically in 12th grade. We will be talking about there is an organic compound A, it reacts with something, produces B, and it gives a color, orange color, and it is a type of C3H6O. The identify the compound. Okay. In that case, if you know that what type of compounds you can have if there is a specific type of formula, and if you can memorize these things, that will be of great help. So C3H6O in this case, the first possible structure is a ketone. And one hint, suppose you have two formulas. Okay? One is C3H8O as in the previous case, and one is C3H6O. Now, when you can have less hydrogen, you can have less hydrogen if there is double bond or triple bond. Remember, hydrogen will get reduced when in two cases, when you have double bond or triple bond or you have cyclic structure. What I mean, suppose you have CH3, CH2, 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 CH3. This is open chain structure. Now suppose I have cyclic structure with the same number of carbons, 5 carbons, CH2, 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 CH2. I have 5 carbons. But because all carbons are attached to one another, they will all be CH2. no CH3 because there is no end, they are in between. So here the formula was C5H12 and here it is C5H10. So if it is cyclic, the hydrogens will reduce. If it has double bond, triple bond, then also the number of hydrogens will decrease. So suppose the open chain one has double bond. So it is CH3, CH double bond, CH, CH2, CH3. Then again, the formula will be C5H10. Number of hydrogens 10 instead of 12. So it also helps you to find out the structure in many cases when I am talking about questions like you have a compound A produces B, C, D, E, etc. And you need to write the chain reaction as well. So here, because the number of hydrogens decreased, it means it should have double bond and it has double bond in the form of carbonyl group, ketonic group here. So C3H6O, one possible structure is ketone. Okay. And can you tell me the name of this one? You know, when there is ketone, the functional group is ONE, O-N-E, ONE. What will be the IUPAC name of this one? Hmm. Okay, Mehak, correct. I'll tell you slight difference. Armina, I'll tell you difference. Shashwat, I'll tell you the difference. Shivangi, correct. Karan, Devansh, Arohi. Okay. Yes. Others, tell me the answer. Yes. Correct. Tuhina, mm, no. Okay. Now, many answers I have received as propanone. Propanone, yes, that is correct answer. But in common chemistry language, this is, although having three carbons, this is known as acetone. Now, acetone is not IUPAC name, okay? This is known as acetone. And this is slight, I would say, exception. This is exception. Now, if I talk about the IUPAC name, yes, the own group is on second carbon. Okay. So if it is on second carbon, if it is ketone, I will write it as propanone. I will write it as propanone if it is IUPAC name. Okay. But as I always say, I'll split this to tell on which carbon the ketonic group is. So I'll say propan to on. Okay. As I said initially, this is not the wrong answer. This is correct. Okay. This is correct. But better way because it is known as acetone. This is better. All are correct answers. I am not saying anyone is incorrect. Okay. But instead of saying propanone, say propan-2-one because In this propanone terms, it is known as acetone, not propanone. So slight confusion and exception. So this is acetone or propan to one, although propanone is also acceptable. Okay, so propanone is correct answer. Next one is aldehyde. You can have whenever you have ketone, you can have equivalent aldehyde isomer. Okay? If you move this oxygen from second carbon to first carbon, obviously hydrogens will move, equivalent hydrogens, two hydrogen will move to this carbon. So that's why two hydrogens move to the middle carbon, one hydrogen remained there on the corner one, and oxygen moved to the corner one. And this CHO group is aldehyde group. Okay, so these two have same formula but different functional groups. So that's why they are functional isomers. And ketones and aldehydes, you will find that they are frequent answers for functional isomers. Yes, Ashi, we can call it propan 1-ul or propanol, both are correct. The reason we can skip one here, okay, is that aldehyde is always at the corner, as I said earlier also, except few exceptions, okay? Two exceptions only. So because aldehyde will always be on the corner and it will decide the carbon as one, okay? Its carbon will always be first carbon. So we can skip it, but both are correct. Whether you write propanol or you write propan 1 are correct. Next, metamerism. Metamerism is shown by normally ethers. Other compounds also show, but normally what you will get in your question paper, normally that will be ether, 99% cases. So example is C4H10O. The isomerism is actually the alkyl groups are different on either side of oxygen. So you have oxygen, this oxygen, and C4H10 can be C2H5 and C2H5. C4H10 can form two alkyl groups, C2H5, C2H5. So oxygen has two alkyl groups on its left hand side and right hand side, and both are same. But oxygen can have this C4H10 in two alkyl groups as CH3 and C3H7 also. Means if I expand it, C2H5 will be like CH3, CH2, CH2, CH3, and CH3O, C3H7 will be CH2, CH2, CH3. Now alkyl groups are different around O in both cases. In first case, the alkyl group, ethyl and ethyl. In second group, methyl and propyl. So these two compounds have different alkyl groups on either side, on both sides. That's why these are metamers. These isomers are called metamers and isomerism, metamerism. As I had written this one as CH3O, CH2, CH2, CH3. It means you have main chain as propane And methoxy group, I told you that alkoxy CH3O or OME methoxy. So this is methoxy group attached to propane, so methoxy propane. Another one I told you C2H5O, C2H5. So you can consider any one as main chain because C2H5 is symmetrical. So you can consider this one as root and ethoxy attached to it. Ethoxy ethane. Both are metamers. Ring chain isomerism, as I said, the fifth one. This is specifically if you are preparing for JEE and NEET. The different structures means one structure will have ring and the other structure can have chain and another structure can have both chain and ring. Okay. So if you remember, I gave you some examples that if you decrease if you get the number of hydrogens decreased, there are two cases. The first case is that you have double bond, or second case you have cyclic structure. It means cyclic structure and double bond both have same formula. If you remember, in both case we got C5H10. If you remember, in the example I gave, whether it was cyclic or double bond, it means if you have a double bond, it will show ring chain isomerism. However, there are other structures also possible. So I'm just giving you an example. Suppose you have CH3CH. I'm giving you the same example which I considered there so that you can understand it in a better way. And the structural formula was C5H10, the formula for this one. Now, if I have this one as cycle, then also the formula is C5H10, CH2 5 times, C5H10. So these are ring chain isomers. Here I have chain, here I have ring. However, another structure is also possible, as I said. You can have the ring of few number of carbons also, less number of carbons also. So here you formed the ring of all 5 carbons. But suppose I form the ring of only 4 carbons. CH2, 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 CH2. Only these. And I replace one carbon here with CH3. Now again you can count carbon 5, hydrogen 10. This is basically it has both ring and chain. So this is a type of chain and this is a type of ring. All these three are ring chain isomers. Now you can further reduce the number of carbons in the chain. You can form the chain with just 3 carbons. So CH2, 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 just like this. And rest of the hydrogens, carbons, you can get like this. Again, C5H10. Now the ring is of only 3 carbons. There is another possibility. That possibility is that within this ring of 3 carbons, that is this, you can have these groups separately attached. One as CH3, the other one as CH3. But here now there won't be any hydrogen, no hydrogen, because all valencies satisfied. Carbon has 4 bonds. So you got 5 isomers. which actually are ring chain isomers. Any confusion, let me know. Cyclopropane itself will not be an example because cyclopropane will form, if you have double bond, then that can be. Cyclopropene can be the example. One, not cyclopropane, because it should have double bond. I'll explain just after that, just after this one. However, that is simpler one. So if you understand this one, it means you have understood the ring chain isomerism. Now coming to your point one, not cyclopropane, cyclopropene can be considered as ring chain isomerism because if you have propene, this is propene, and if you have three carbons in ring form, both have same formula, C3H6. The first one is in chain form, the second one is in cyclic form. So it is propene. And you don't need to write prop 1 in or 2 in because that double bond will always be whatever you have will be on first carbon. Yes, Matt, we will be talking about it. So in this case, the first one will be propene, the second one will be cyclopropane. Cyclopropane, not propene. Okay, the reason it does not have any double bond, the cyclic one, but it has cycle, so that's why cyclopropane. As we did in case of cyclohexane, if you remember in the previous class. So in all these structures, if you have to name these as per IUPAC naming convention, the carbons you have in ring, that one will become cyclo. So for example, the first one will be, the cyclic one will be cyclopentane. Okay. Here it is on cyclobutane, you have one methyl group attached. So one methyl cyclobutane or methyl cyclobutane, that is also acceptable. Similarly, one ethyl cyclopropane. And here 1,1-dimethyl cyclopropane. Okay. So this one is simple one. If you have understood the example I have given, then that is anyway clear. So this one is related to butane. So suppose you have butane, okay, CH3, CH, double bond, CH, CH3. Another one will be CH2, CH3, CH2, CH, double bond, CH2. So the first one is butene, the next one is but-1-ene, but both are isomers, but both are chain isomers. After that, because it has double bond, you can have all the carbons in a chain, all four. So you form this structure, bond line. Here bond line is shown. It is actually like this, cyclobutane. So here you have formed the cycle of 4 carbons. You can form the cycle of 3 carbons also, as we did in previous case. And the rest one will be attached as a branch, methyl cyclopropane. Now, next part, reaction mechanism. So that actually covers your structural isomerism, and there we talked about five types of structural isomerism. Okay. The chain isomerism, simple, the chain is different. Okay. Position isomerism, position of functional group is different. Functional isomerism, functional group is different. Metamerism, where on either side of oxygen, or in few cases when we do questions, I'll tell you, the right side and left hand side alkyl groups are different than metamerism. And then last one, ring chain isomerism. Now the reaction mechanism. Reaction mechanism is all about whatever reactions are taking place in chemistry. Those are nothing but electron movement, and due to that, bond formation, and bond can be covalent bond or ionic bond, coordinate bond, whatever. But it is all about movement of electrons. Anything which is happening in chemistry, chemical reactions, that is due to movement of electrons. So that's why we need to talk about details of electron movement. Energetics during bond cleavage and bond formation means if bond breaks, then what is the difference in energy? Something about that. Or if there is resonance, which we have already talked about. Rates of transformation of reactants into products means kinetics, how fast, how slow. The principles and entities that explain how these reactions take place are these ones which we are going to discuss. So that's why I'm showing all these, and don't get scared. Okay, these are although eight in total. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, rather nine. These are simple ones. Okay, nothing very tricky here. Just I'll tell you in advance that the points related to the resonance structures or resonance effect, electromeric effect, and then hyperconjugation is very important. So first we need to understand fission of a covalent bond. How a covalent bond can break. There are two ways covalent bond can break. So a covalent bond can get cleaved either by heterolytic cleavage or by homolytic cleavage. What is heterolytic cleavage? Shared pair of electrons remains with one of the fragments. Means if this bond breaks, both the electrons move to one element. So in this case, both the electrons move to bromine. So that's why bromine gets negative charge and methyl group gets positive charge. So methyl group in this case becomes cation, bromine is bromide anion. So how ions are formed? When it is heterolytic cleavage. Heterolytic cleavage will lead to ion formation, and you need to remember it because we will be talking about the mechanisms in 12th grade. You need to be good in this concept. Carbocation and carboanion. So in this case, we call it carbocation because it is related to carbon. Carbocation. This is simple anion because it does not have any carbons. Cation in this case will be called carbocation. If anion has carbons, we will call that carb anion. This O will not be there in that case. Remember, spelling is slightly different in that case. Instead of calling that carbo anion, we call that carb anion because O and A cannot come in succession. Both are vowels. That's why. Now the stability, and we will be talking about why this is trend of stability is there. Why we have the primary, and I hope you remember what is primary carbon, what is secondary carbon. Okay. Primary carbocation is less stable, and within that primary carbocation, the methyl carbocation is least stable, and then secondary carbocation is more stable, tertiary carbocation is most stable. Why this is so, we will be talking about reaction mechanism and then I'll explain. For now, you have to remember, and there are straightforward questions in your examination asking which one will be the most stable or Why this one will be more stable? That is something I'll tell you later on. But if you are asked to arrange the compounds in increasing or decreasing order of stability, you can use this trend. Now, these carbocations have trigonal planar shape with positively charged carbon being sp2 hybridized. Why? Try to remember. Okay. And this is something you already know, but I'm just explaining so that you get the point. If it is CH3 plus, usually carbon will have 4 bonds. But if it has lost 1 electron, that's why it has got positive charge. It means it has only 3 electrons, and all 3 electrons will combine with hydrogen and will form 3 bonds. And if there are 3 bonds, you know from chemical bonding that they will arrange themselves in planar form having angle 120 degree. Do you remember that? VSEPR theory. 3 arms, they will arrange themselves at farthest angle 120 degree in a plane. Same is true for this one also. But in this case, there are 2 hydrogens and the other one is alkyl group. So here it is also the similar thing. 2 are hydrogen, the other one is CH3 group. That's the only difference. But it has 3 arms only. The angle will obviously be slightly different from 120 degree because one arm is different, but it will be planar structure. Similarly, the 2 degree also. Here you have 2 methyl groups attached. 2 methyl groups attached. Only one hydrogen, but still 3 arms, so planar. Similarly, the last one. In this case, all 3 are methyl groups. So CH3, CH3, and if you have 3 arms on the central atom, it will arrange itself in trigonal planar shape. So all these carbocations will have trigonal planar shape with sp2 hybridized carbon. This carbon has how many arms? 3. So it has 3 arms, sp2 hybridization. It means it will need 3 hybrids. 3 hybrids will be formed by 3 orbitals. 3 orbitals will be 1s and 2p. 1 plus 2, 3. 3 orbitals will form 3 hybrids for the carbocation. Clear? I hope you can recall all these things. Yes, Aki, good. Arohi, your point? So they are points of which principle? Which question you are referring to, Arohi? When you say they are points of which principle? Are you talking about the 9 points I had shown? Yes, these are the principles, points of principle of reaction mechanism. Okay, these 9 points are principle of principles of reaction mechanism, how reaction works. Okay, how bond formation takes place. As I told you that whenever we talk about reaction, it is bond formation or bond breaking. So one bond breaks, other bond is formed. That is reaction mechanism, and that is done through electron movement. So all these are actually the principles of reaction mechanisms. So this will be, for example, shape of methyl cation. All 3 hydrogens will be at 120 degree and one p orbital will be empty. Why one p orbital will be empty? Try to understand this one also. Let me just see the time. In CH4, if I talk about CH4, okay, or just talk about carbon, the structure will be 1s2, 2s2, 2p2. When CH4 is formed, then 4 hydrogens are to be connected. So when four hydrogens are to be connected, then carbon goes in its excited state from this state. It goes to this state, so that four hybrids are formed, sp3, four hybrids are formed, and all hydrogens get attached to those hybrids. But here I have CH3 plus. It means when methane loses one hydrogen, then there will be only three hybrids, and this one, this p orbital will be vacant. That vacant p orbital is shown here. So this is shown, that vacant p orbital of carbon. Clear? And it is necessary to show these orbitals because when we will be talking about hyperconjugation, these will actually be involved in hyperconjugation. What is hyperconjugation? Very important phenomenon we will be talking about today. Now, in few cases, heterolytic cleavage, it is again heterolytic cleavage, but the electrons, both the electrons can move to alkyl group. In that case, the alkyl group will attain negative charge, and the Z part, which is whatever is attached to this methyl group, gains positive charge. So in this case, this is the anion. Now, anion contains carbon, that's why it will be termed as carbanion. It happens normally when this Z is more electropositive than carbon. For example, magnesium. We will be talking about Grignard reagent in 12th. Then you will actually see that it happens in case of Grignard reagents. Their magnesium is there, which is more electropositive than carbon. The organic reactions which proceed through heterolytic bond cleavage are also called ionic or heteropolar or just polar reactions. Other names for heterolytic cleavage. So if you see ionic reactions, okay, those are all through heterolytic cleavage when ions are formed. Homolytic cleavage, now you should have an idea what we are going to talk about, in which case each one gets one. Okay, so shared pair electron has two electrons, both get one each. Now in this case, because both get one each half, the arrow is fish hook arrow. This is called fish hook arrow. So if you see in heterolytic cleavage, we used full arrow. Arrow was like this. Both electrons moved. In case of homolytic cleavage, it is shown as half arrow, which is known as fish hook arrow, half-headed arrow. Homolytic cleavage results in the formation of neutral species, atoms or group, which contain an unpaired electron. These species are called free radicals. So a new term you have to remember, free radicals. Okay, although it is used, for example, we talked about the atmosphere. There are, in the atmosphere there are a lot of free radicals. You might have heard this term, but what are free radicals? You will get to know from this one. Like carbocation and carbanion, free radicals are also very reactive. Why? Because they are unstable. They have received one electron both, okay, and that does not complete their octet. So that's why they are unstable. If they are unstable, they are highly reactive. Stable compounds are not reactive. Unstable compounds are reactive. So if there is a compound Rx, normally through heat or light, they will get converted into R dot X dot. This dot actually represents the electron, extra electron. And when any species has extra electron, one extra electron, it is termed as free radical. When it gets two electrons, then obviously out of those, one is of its own, the other one is of the other one. So it gets full charge, negative charge, or if it loses two, it gets full positive charge. So full positive or negative charge means conversion to ions will always be through heterolytic cleavage. But if it is just one electron it gets, then it will be free radical. So now you should be clear about what is the difference between cation, anion, that is ions, and free radicals. The difference is that in cation anion there is transfer of two electrons when bond is cleaved. In free radicals, they have just one extra electron. Okay, one electron, which is not actually extra. I'll tell you why. Okay, later on. Alkyl radical stability increases as we proceed from primary to tertiary. Same thing. This rule is same as in case of cations we talked about. The stability increases from primary to tertiary. 1 degree is less stable than 2 degree, less stable than 3 degree. Within 1 degree, methyl free radical is less stable than others. Same is true for free radicals also. Okay. Primary less stable than secondary, less stable than 3 degree. Thus, free radicals you can identify if they have one dot over any of the carbons. So here also you can see the structure will be slightly different. Okay. Organic reactions which proceed by homolytic fission are called free radical or homopolar or non-polar reactions. In case of heterolytic cleavage, we said instead of free radical, we called the carb cation, okay, or ionic or polar reactions. Heterolytic cleavage is governed by formation of carb cation. Homolytic cleavage is governed by formation of free radicals. We have covered this point, fission of a covalent bond, heterolytic and homolytic. This one we will start in next class. Till then, take care. Good night and bye-bye.